Hi, my name is Sierra. Thanks for coming to my channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe. I'm so glad you're here. Today we're going to be talking about all things literary agents. So I get asked probably the most often, how did you meet your literary agent? How did you find them? How did the query process work out for you? And I've talked a lot about this on Instagram, but I've just never given a more in-depth story here about how I met my agents. I felt like, even though I loved my MFA, that wasn't a lot of the focus at the MFA. You know, the focus is on actually doing a lot of the good writing, but some of the business side about contracts is not the focus. And so I wanted to talk today about how I found my agent and how that relationship has completely changed my career. My story is a little bit different. I feel like every writer's story with finding their agent is unique. That's kind of the point, right? No one's doing it the exact same way. So when I was in my MFA, we had a novel workshop, which was amazing. If you are in an MFA and you want to be a novelist, I highly recommend taking a novel workshop or encouraging your program to offer one because it was incredibly helpful for me. So we did this novel workshop and we generated an entire manuscript in the class, which we workshopped. Mine was like terrible. I rewrote it, and this December, January, when I'm starting the rewriting process, and it's now a completely different form, but it's a lot stronger. We, decided where the book should start, who the main characters really were as people, what the central conflict was, all that jazzy fun stuff. And so by this time, AWP, which is the Association for Writers and Writing Programs, annual conference is coming up in March. And this is the big kahuna, right? This is the big writing conference that, universities and literary journals and editors go to every year, except for COVID, of course. But this was several years ago. And so, I heard about this writer to agent program that AWP offers. Now, what this is that it allows writers to submit their queries, even for unfinished manuscripts, through Submittable so that agents can review them and have agent meetings with you at the conference. Now, when I heard this, I freaked out because it's huge to be able to query a book that's not done. What this meant for me was I kind of got to test the waters and see, is the concept interesting? Should I keep investing my time in this? And I had 2 agents reach out to me from the writer to agent program, and they wanted to meet with me. Now, this was in Portland. This would be 2019? Yeah. I had to do the math there for a second, but this would be AWP 2019. And they told me, hey, we really like this. Finish the novel and then query us. So now I had that fire lit within me to finish the book. I knew people were interested. And so when the time came later that year and the book was done, I actually had 2 agents already who I knew were interested in the book. Did the whole query process. I'll probably do another video about that, what goes in your query letter, what mine was structured like, again, all that fun stuff. But when I queried them, plus several other agents, I did get some quick responses. And so that wasn't necessarily surprising since I'd already met with them. What was surprising is that just a few weeks into the query process, I had 3 offers of representation. I did not expect this. There had been so much focus on the query process and bracing yourself for hearing nothing that honestly no one really told me what happens next, right? If you do get offers of representation, what do you do? How do you choose one? What happens next? And I was a little bit paralyzed about this. I did not want to make the wrong decision, They all had different visions for the book, and this kind of brought up a few of the key things that I started to look for. Number 1, what is their client list like? So I am a multi-genre writer. I like to write different things. I did not want to be stuck in one single lane. So I looked at what their client list looks like. Do I feel like my work fits in there? Is it representative of different things I might want to do down the road? And so forth. The second thing I asked was, what is their editorial style? I knew I wanted someone who would give me editorial feedback, who would not just take the manuscript and be like, this is great. I wanted someone who was willing to, really get in the weeds with me on some of the detail stuff, and I ended up finding that with my team. And the third thing, along with that big picture editorial vision, is what were their thoughts on the book itself? Did they see it the way I saw it? And did their suggestions for revision line up with my vision for the book? And, one of the agents had a suggestion that I really wasn't sold on, and that was a huge deal for me. So really make sure you ask those tough questions and understand what your agent is asking you to do, and make sure that it is in line with what you think the book deserves to be, because ultimately it's your story, right? To recap, I met my agents at AWP through the AWP Writer to Agent program in a pitch session. So if you get the chance to do this, this is what you will need. A query letter, because this is how you introduce your book. An elevator pitch, and for this, you're going to want a log line. The log line is like your one-sentence description of the book, and it's part of your elevator pitch, which is like a paragraph description. So you may have had that like paralyzing moment at a Christmas family party when someone's like, what's your book about? And you're like, I don't know, it's about people. This is where you want to have that really, really good answer to tell an agent, right? So you want to make sure you've thought about those things. And then, of course, some sample chapters. The concept only works if the book actually holds up and is what the concept was promised to be. So I hope this helped. If you have any questions, let me know.